Hey Royals, welcome to our team Facebook Live for the month of December, but it was for November. This one's a little bit late. This is my stamp set of the month for last month, but I'm double doing December and we'll have two of these kits made up for you guys. Today I'm using the Spruced Up stamp set and the Spruced Up outline dies are the main feature for this 4-card kit. Go ahead and hold, I flip, and we'll get started. Okay, let me just adjust this just a little bit so you're not seeing too much of my rug and carpet there. 1 second. Hopefully that's good, and then we'll just move everything into view. If you're watching this live, I would love to hear from you. If not, I'd love to see you later on in the comments. Either way is fine. This kit is made specifically for my team members. I have a handful of those who have ordered this from me, but it's also just to inspire you guys. I'll have a tutorial up on my blog later today with all the details and measurements for all of the cards I make in our video today. I'm using the Spruced Up stamp set. This stamp set is amazing. I've used it for multiple things, and that's what I've really loved about this one, is that I've been able to make so many different kinds of cards with just that one stamp set. However, I have paired it with the Spruced Up outline dies, and these dies are just as amazing and currently are sold out. So hopefully you have these already. If not, don't worry. If you order this kit from me, then I will send you all the die cut items out already, and all you have to do is use your stamp set to finish them. All right, let's go ahead and get started then. I have 4 cards, and I want to make sure we're not taking too much of your time today. We're going to start with our first one. It's this cool little tree one, and this one's actually inspired by Robin Cardin. She's a $2 million sales achiever here in the United States, and she has a very definitely pink theme to a lot of her cards, so I really love the way this one turned out. I just changed up the measurements a little bit and called it good. Let me go ahead and grab the pieces for this one. I'm starting with a thick basic white cardstock for our base. I do like thick always when I'm using white bases, because our white is really high quality, but just not a heavy weight. So this thicker one works perfect as card base. I do have it scored at 5.5, and it's 4 1/4 by 11. Let me go ahead and finish using my bone folder. Get that nice and crisp, and we'll set that aside. And then I'm using polished pink for my rectangle. That's just a 3x4. And then I've went ahead and I've already use my white embossing powder with Versamark and my heat tool to get the saying here, may it be yours this holiday season. We'll just glue that right there in just a minute. And I've also, because this is something that has to be die cut, I went ahead and used my parakeet party for this tree and my polished pink for this tree that I've made and I die cut out. Your kits will come with just white trees, and you can either try stamping them in there, or you can make different designs on those trees with whatever stamp set you have. So those will be our trees we'll be using today, and then this is our granny apple green just for our bottom here. We just have one more thing that we need stamp on this one, and it's these awesome looking snowflakes here. Let me grab 2 things. So we are going to need our foam mat, and let me actually slide it underneath. This is a photopolymer stamp set, and so it means it needs just a little bit of extra cushion underneath to have nice solid images. And I'm using that polished pink is my ink of choice. We'll get that into view, open it up. And then let's go ahead and grab our snowflake here. Here's our cute little snowflake. We'll ink this up. And you want to do just fairly random. You want one on the top. We'll do like a halfie, some peeking out. A lot of it's going to be covered up by the tree, and you won't have to see too much of it, but this whole bottom half will be covered, so you don't even have to stamp that if you don't want. We'll go ahead and set that aside, and that's all the stamping for this one, because we already did our trees and our embossing. So this one's coming together really quickly, which is nice. Next, grab your liquid glue and flip this part over. That's our basic gray. And this is that 3" by, I want to say, oh, what was this measurement for this one? I have it on centimeters, so I won't be able to see very well. I think it's almost 2 inches. I think it's 1 3/4. There's on our bottom there. Perfect. Let's go ahead and glue our Granny Apple Green on the bottom of our card as well. Flip that over, grab our liquid glue, create some squiggles, and place it down there. So it's on each corner. There we go. Then we can go ahead and flip this one over and let's add some dimensionals. And of course, here we go. I have 2 kinds. I have our mini in white and I have our larger or normal size in black. I'm going to grab the black ones real quick and just put them on the back here. 1 in each corner, 1 in the center. And then we'll flip this over. We'll go ahead and put that about center. So this gray is going to be a little bit above our Granny Apple line. We have a top and a bottom and sides on both of them. Let's grab our trees, flip those over. I'm going to grab the minis for this one since it's a white color. We'll put 1 on the top and at least 2 on the bottom. You put it 1 in the center if you want as well. There we go. I like to put my larger tree first. Let's remove the backings of that one. Let's flip that over, and you want to have it so it's not covering up our words, but it's over on the gray and the pink. This one we're going to have just a little bit of overlap on the bottom of our tree here, so it's going a little bit lower than our green one. And then we're going to grab 2 things. We need our bow. I have a parakeet party bow that we're going to attach with a glue dot. And for mine, I use an iridescent gem for the top of my pink tree. I'm just putting that knot to the dot, pressing it down, pinching it with my fingernails, and sticking it at the trunk of this tree there. And let me see where I placed that. I have 1 left on the sheet, so it might be hard for me to find. So you might have to steal a different one. Oh, I'm not seeing it. Okay, so this one has an iridescent rhinestone. And for your guys' kit, I'm using something a little bit different. So let me grab what else I'm using for your guys'. Real quick. Oh, if I could find it. I'm telling you, I'm losing all of my embellishments here. We will just put a rhinestone on the top of that one then. Unless I can find my last one. But just grab a little rhinestone out. I like to do the little one. And just any bling would actually work here. Just to make it look like a little star. That almost looks even better. There we go. A little rhinestone there. Super easy. That one's a fairly easy one. It has a little bit of level of difficulty because of our embossing that I did beforehand and the die cutting, but it is a fantastic card and just really, really fun with those colors there. All right, let's go on to our next one. Let's grab our Merry Christmas ornaments one here. This one's super fun. I love that we have this basic white twine. Makes it look like it's hanging from that top part there. We've done a little bit of fussy cutting and some stamping along here as well. Let's set that aside. I still have my foam mat underneath me for easy use. And let's grab all the things we need for this one. So I have a shaded spruce is my color of choice for my card base here. When I send your kits, your cards will already come folded, but not like nicely folded. So make sure you grab that bone folder and get it nice and crisp. We'll set that aside. I have our basic white, which I have used my stitch rectangles to die cut out. And we will need to stamp that. And we will also need to stamp a little piece scrap of basic white for our Merry Christmas. So we're going to grab our Granny Apple Green. Is the color I'm using for this one. And the paper that I've used to die cut is called is a Hostess only paper, and that is retiring soon. It was in our mini catalog, which that mini catalog will be no longer available after the 4th of January. So I'm just inking these little stars or snowflakes, whatever you want to call them. And I'm starting from my top left corner and coming down. Just like that. And some of it will be covered up, so it doesn't matter, but you just want to make sure you just make a complete line from corner to corner. And you have it even stamping off a little bit, kind of like a little trail here we've created. Okay, let me make sure I wipe that off because I think we might use that later. We'll put our Granny Apple away, and let's grab our shaded Spruce. That's a darker shade of green. It's just gorgeous, and it matches our card base. Let's grab our Merry and our Christmas. Here's our cute little Merry. Ink that up. You can do a practice stamp if you want. Make sure it's clean and good. Looks good. And come on over to our piece of basic white scrap. There we go. And Christmas. The fun thing about these two words being separated is that you can change the colors up really easily. If I wanted to have a two-tone look here, I totally could. Or you can even change the scene, and there we have a happy in this one. It can be a happy Christmas. Look at that dimensional backing. Okay, take that ink and put it away. And you know what I guess I just found? Right here. This whole time was that iridescent rhinestone from the other one. That's okay. Okay. Grab your paper snips, and we're going to do some fussy cutting. I usually like to cut it down so it's smaller, easy for me to work with. And we're just going to go around, closer in around our letters here, holding onto it and turning the paper and keeping our scissors fairly straight. There's our Merry. We'll grab our Christmas now. This one I'm going kind of more like a rounded, kind of like a flat straight bottom, and then rounded around the letters on the top side. And it's just up to you. You just want to give yourself enough room to put some dimensionals on the back. Don't cut off your dot on your eye. You're good as good. Okay, Merry Christmas. We'll set that aside so it's ready to go. Our next part, we need our basic white twine. So I've already made some bows because that usually takes the longest time, but you guys all know how to make a bow. It just is sometimes finicky when you're on camera. And then I have 3 pieces of this basic white, and this measures about 3 inches. I have them all measuring the same, but when I did this one, I did different lengths. It doesn't really matter. What matters is just how we place it there, and then we can always trim off as needed, or even hide behind the ornament. I'm taking my stamping sil, and I'm going to just do one straight line, like that, on the top back of our stitch rectangle. Okay? Then I'm going to grab some of the basic white. I'm going to put it where I want it to be, and I'm just going to press that part down behind it to catch to that piece of sil that I put. Okay, same for the next one. It's going to go over just a little bit. This one's a little bit longer. Just make sure that we're pressing it down so it attaches. So I'll do, come up over the edge and press. There we go. I'm being careful not to put this on my paper right now because it has that adhesive and I don't want it to actually stick to my grid sheet. And our last one there. So what I want to do is grab my Granny Apple Green mat and attach it to it right away, because I just don't want to leave that adhesive open. For this, you can use the liquid glue or some more of this seal. I do want to put, I think, a little bit more adhesive here at the top, because this is going to make it a little bit bumpy and I just might need a little extra strength there. Okay, flip those over, make sure your strings are not on the behind, and we'll carefully attach this to our mat here. Looking pretty good. press down on that top. So that seal will seal to the paper. All right. So what I've done is I've die cut out two types of the ornament. So I have an outline, and it's in a solid cardstock color. And then I also have the inside of our DSP. So we have the pinks and our shaded spruce and that granny apple green. What I'm going to do is grab a dimensional, and we're going to put it on the back of our circles, the inside of our ornaments first. Okay, so toss your outlines aside. And what we're going to do is grab our dimensional. I'm going to grab the larger size ones. It's the black. I'm going to take my first string, and I'm going to say I want mine to be right about here. So I'm going to then go ahead and put my dimensional over my twine like that. And then I'll do the same thing for the next one. But let's go ahead and remove the backing of this one, just so we have some space awareness. And if it looks like it's going to be too long, I can even trim it and get a little haircut. There we go. And we'll stick this right over that, like so. You're going to try to go center as you can, but it's okay if it's not. This is our longer one, so we're going to have this one go as far as I can. Put our dimensional on the end of it. Press it down so it attaches to the paper. And then we're going to attach our DSP circle, have it overlap just a little bit. You want to make sure you have a free top. And I'll show you why in just a minute. Okay, our last one here. Grab that one. This one I'm going to have it in between. So not as high as this one, but not as low as that one. So I'm going to look here and say, like right about here, should be pretty good. And this one we're actually going to sneak it underneath that first one, like so. There we go. So now we have our 3 circles just kind of hanging there, and those look really cool already, just the way it is. But we're going to add our outline to there. And the best way to add the outline is to use a dimensional and a mini one. Oh, you know what? Did I do this backwards? I'm trying to think if this is now. No, I think I did this right. We're doing good still. Because what I want to do is add my dimensional right here at the top. And then I'm going to attach this over it. Just at that very top spot though. So where the hole is in our ornament outline there. Okay, and that's why we wanted to have some space for this one, because we're going to need that spot to be attaching. And line it up like so. This one I feel like might need to go underneath. Let's see if I can't do that without wrecking it. Ooh, maybe. There we go. There we go. That looks better. And one more dimensional over here. Remove the backing. Slide that frame in. This one's a little bit trickier because I have that dimensional right there in the way. So we might need to play with this one a little bit. Oh man. I would have it go over. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to attach it. And then I'm going to carefully cut some of it, the part that you won't see. And maybe I can just sneak that now underneath, like so. Same for this one. We'll just kind of bend it a little bit and sneak it under. Push it there aside. Okay. And then if we need to do a little bit more trimming, or we can push that one under, carefully do some trimming there. Not too bad. We fixed it. We totally made that work. Now that we have those little dimensionals there, we can grab our bows and put the knot to where the hole is and press down. If that dimensional adhesive isn't strong enough, go ahead and use a glue dot. But it should be sticky enough that we could just add our little bow there, and nobody knows that's a dimensional is underneath there. So super easy, pretty quick. Okay, grab our card base, which was that Shaded Spruce. Flip this over, add some liquid glue, and let's attach this to our card base. If you are making this, I would totally suggest you doing a basic white for the inside as well. This is a darker shade of green, so it's hard to write on this color of card base. I'm just skipping that step for today. Okay, we have our Merry Christmas. We'll flip those over and grab our little dimensionals, our mini dimensionals. Place at least 2. I want one on each end for my Merry. And then for this Christmas, go to my thickest part. It's white, so it won't be showing too bad, but let's go ahead and put our Merry on first. We'll have it right about here. Okay, remove the dimensionals off the Christmas, flip it, and sometimes it lines up where the looks like the groove goes up here and the T like fits almost perfectly into it. Let me get closer to kind of see how I fussy cut that. What almost looks like it goes with it there. Super cute. Let me grab my rhinestones. We want at least 3 for this one. We're going to put one large one at the top here. Sorry, I was just getting a phone call. I don't know if you guys could hear that vibration. I'll have her call me back later. And one right there and another down below. So there's our 3 to add a little bit of sparkle to this card. And I just love the way that looks. I love the DSP with the outlines, with those bows. And the bows don't have to be perfect. They can be super sloppy and still really, really cute. Love that one. Okay, we'll set that one aside and go on to our next 2 that we have. Let's grab this Christmas tree one here. So I have 2 Christmas trees. One is a colorful one and one was that stamped one. This uses just the dies, and we have a little bit of stamping here and a little bit stamping in the inside here. So let's set that one aside. Let's grab our basic white for this one. Again, it is thick. And then I have all these die cut pieces out. So over on my blog, you'll have all the colors for it, but hopefully I can remember and tell you what they are as well. Grabbing my bone folder, getting it nice and creased. That's my card base. We'll set that aside. And then we have this piece of basic white. I believe this is my 3 3/4 by 5, just to create a little bit of a wider border. And then let me see if you can see. It's really hard to see. It's a very faint detail, but you can kind of see where I have these little blue specks going on here. So what we are going to do is show you how you can do that at home. I'm using the Bermuda Bay ink, and you kind of see where I already have a little ink spot here. So to get that, this is an old stamp pad, but with the new ones you could do it as well, or you can just use a clear block and dip it into there. But you just kind of press it together and the ink will transfer from the ink pad to the lid, and we have some ink to play with here. Set that right here. And let me grab, there's 2 things you can use for this. You can either use a Wink of Stella or your water paintbrush. Let me grab one or both and show you how. Okay. So we'll do a little bit of both. And if I was really creative, I would do one of each color to kind of match it in between. But I'm going to keep this one simple and just do one color. So for the water brush, I'll make sure it's wet by touching my hand here. I don't need to have it too wet though. And we just want to gather some of this ink here. Just by picking it up with that brush. Then we'll take it over to our basic white and we'll do some tapping. Placing that down. There we go. You can kind of see how that's splattering on. And we're going to give this a little bit of time to dry too. So don't worry. A lot of it's just going to be water right there because I don't have enough ink. But it's a lighter color. Okay. So that's how we do it with that one. Then if you want, we would wash it clean by just keep on wiping until it comes out clear. And this brush is ready to go again with a whole different color. Or you can use the Wink of Stella. That same idea, but we're going to change our coloring on our wink. Okay, so I'm just picking up a little bit of that color here. So It's gonna make our color glitter. Same idea though, taking my bone folder. I'm gonna come over here where I had that. And I'm gonna just do some light tapping towards the paper. So not only am I having some glitter transfer, but some of those little blue specks. If I want it to be thicker, I would get closer to the spot and I'll have it a wider drop. Or I can squeeze out some of the glitter and then do some flicking with that as well. The nice thing about the Wink of Stella, it is a alcohol-based one, I believe, and so it dries a lot faster. And same idea, to wipe it clean, and then it's ready for using other things. So very simple, just a little bit of extra color, but it's a fun technique to do. Okay, we'll keep our Bermuda Bay out because we need to do a little bit of stamping with it. Let's put that aside to dry, and we need our little piece of basic white. It's a tiny little piece. It's usually just a scrap. Let me see if I can find where I put it. Oh, it's missing, but we will cut a new one. So here we have, and I had about 3 1/4, or almost 3. So I'm gonna go like about right here. Okay. Here's my Bermuda Bay. And let me grab my stamps. So I'm needing this tiny little one that says, whatever brings you happiness. We're gonna ink that up. I'm gonna do a practice ink, just make sure it's clean. Practice stamp, looks good. Then I'm gonna go center of that scrap. Perfect. And then we're gonna grab our card base. And oh, look, I found that other piece. It was in my pile of trees. Let's see how close I was on the sides there. I'm curious. Oh, that one's a little bit longer, but that's a good guessing on my part. Okay, have that open. Grab the May it be yours this holiday season. Ink it up. I like to do a practice. And then we're going to go top center. Again with that Bermuda Bay. Perfect. Okay. Set that aside. Grab our whatever brings you happiness and let's just flag the ends. I like to do a center cut, just a tiny one, about 1/4 inch. Then go from corner to where that cut was. And it flags our ends. And you can go a little bit more each time. Sometimes I usually just do like a little rip if I don't get it. There we go. Flip it. Again, 1/4 inch in, just depending on how thick I want these flags to be. And there we go. Okay, our banner piece is ready to go. Just set that aside. Grab our piece that we did our paintbrush flicking with and our Wink of Stella flicking. It does look really, really cool. Let me see if I can't get closer, see if you can't see a little bit better. It is really cool though. I'm loving that. Okay, we're gonna start with our first outline trees in the Bermuda Bay. And we're gonna put just a little bit of drops of glue on this. Okay, we don't need to do a whole string of it. We don't want to have lots of oozing out. And it doesn't have to be all over. I'm just going in like the nooks of each of my tree. See, that one looks a little too much. I'm gonna take some of it and spread it so that it goes where I want it to go and not where it wants it to go. Okay, then flip that over carefully and grab our paper, and we want it to be fairly high and pretty close to that edge. Give it just a little bit of a gap though. Okay. For this next one, if you want, you can use a dimensional or you can leave it flat. I'm going to leave it flat, but the way I'm going to do this one is I'm actually going to, well, let's just do our green. Because last time I remember I forgot the green and I had to slide it in afterwards. So let's put a little bit of glue on the Granny Apple Green tree, and let's have this be a little bit taller than this outline one. It can even go off your paper if you want, because we have room on our card base. Okay, That tree should be in place. Nice. Then we have our outline for this guy. Go ahead and put the dots of glue again on this one. This is the smaller of the tree. There's 2 tree size that were part of these dies, which work great for the stamping and die cutting out, or the stamping or just die cutting out. Okay, this one's gonna go lower. Press that one down. And then we're gonna put our tree inside. So every time I cut out a tree, it gives me 2 die cut images, an outline and an inside. So we're just gonna fill that inside piece up right there. So for the ones that we're not using, I have like the opposites for. So I have like the inside of this, I have the outside of that, which I plan to make more cards with those extra pieces. A little bit of liquid glue on our, this is a Mango Melody tree. See, these are more of a bright colors versus our traditional Christmas colors, and it just makes it really, really fun. Okay, there's that one. And I have a blushing bride for this guy. This one we're gonna have it a little bit lower, but don't press it all the way down because I'm gonna slide this other flirty flamingo behind it. In fact, my tip to you would probably be do all the outline ones first, and then you can do the inside trees last. Maybe. Okay. And there we go. Looking pretty good. Flip this over, add our dimensionals. I'm missing my large ones, so I'm just using these minis because they're the white ones. They match my paper. And that's my main tip for when you're using dimensionals. You're like, which color should I use? If it's a dark piece of paper, use your dark dimensionals. If it's a light piece of paper, especially the white with white, use your white dimensionals. Okay, remove the backs. Flip it over. And we're going to set that center so it borders on all 4 sides. Looks good. And we just need to add our little banner here with those mini dimensionals. I recommend at least 3 because it's a little bit of a longer piece here. If you want it to have a rolling look, you would not do the center one, and you can kind of bend it and make it look like it's rolling, but that's just harder to ship. Go over here so it's covering up some of our trees like so. And then I have these beautiful embellishments that are actually on the last chance deal right now, and I think even discounted. It's the Fine Sparkle Adhesive Back Gems. I love these because they have all these different colors. So I'm going to take the darker of the blue, put it here by my Bermuda, and then we have a the light blue down here by this tree. You can kind of see my theme I'm going here. Then we have this large one right here we're going to put over by our mango, just kind of at angles, and then close to it we'll do that little pink one that matches as well. And there we go. You can even add an extra bonus one right here. Let's do that so that way we're even on our numbers. Oh, it sticks to my finger. There we go. And that looks so cool. Look at those colors. I love it. This one was inspired by a slim card designed by an artisan, I always say it wrong, designer. Stampin' Up has these amazing demonstrators who work for a whole year basically for Stampin' Up, getting free products where they do designs that we can see. They are amazing. And this was inspired by one of those, but they did a slim line, so it had a lot more colors to it, which you could totally do, or do all the small trees and have a lot more colors as well. Great design there. Okay, we'll set those ones aside and get ready for our last card. This one is a fun one. It says Happy Christmas, and we have some cute little presents and our designer series paper right here. Super easy. Let me show you my tips how to make this one though. I'm using that polished pink is my color of choice. Let me grab all these pieces. Okay, so I have some basic white for our stamping. I have my mat. If you notice, my mat looks a little bit holy here. And because I've die cut out the presents directly from that inside the mat. that's not going to be seen. So I thought, wait, let's not waste that whole center, right? Let's use that for something else. And so that's where we got our cute little black outline for. I've seen a lot of presents where if you wanted to, you can use them over DSP. And it creates a cute little, let me here so you can kind of see. There we go. So it'd be a cute little present look with DSP. That is totally an option as well. What we're doing though, we're making our own wrapping paper design by using the extra stamps to create it on our pieces of paper here. Let's do that, and then we will also do our stamping on our basic white. So let's grab these two pieces, and we're gonna grab our little stars. I have glue on my thumb and it keeps on sticking, so I apologize for fixing that over and over again. Let's do the polished pink. It's the color we're using for our little stars, the wrapping paper. Ink that up, and just go top and bottom. Two stamps, done. Super cute. For the next one's a little bit different because we're using this longer piece here. Let me put this ink away. So we're going to use this shaded spruce again. This color. Because it's the same color, the same paper. It's no thinking. But I do want to make sure I have my square going the right way. So I'm going to line up my present to make sure. This is a little bit different. It's like 1/8 by like 1/4. Because it's more of a rectangle. No, that looks pretty good. Okay. We're going to ink that up. And we're going to go center as we possibly can of our present. Lift up. And then we'll ink right above it without stamping again. And we'll do the same thing right below it. So it creates this kind of cool... let me get closer, you can see, like that. Dark in the center and then lights on the side. Okay, now we just need to keep this ink out. And I need to keep my other ink out too. Our polished pink and our shaded spruce. But we want to figure out where we were going to put this. So what I like to do is grab my piece of DSP and I'm going to line it up. I can use my grid paper right now to keep it straight. Or just kind of eyeball it. We'll go right about here. You could use a ruler too if you wanted to. I'm grabbing my handy dandy pencil. I'm making just a little pencil mark here on that right side. So I know that I need to stamp above there, my happy and my Christmas. We're going to start with the Christmas first because that needs to make sure we have enough space. So let's ink that up. So let me grab that into view. Ink our Christmas. And you want it to be a little bit from the edge. Give yourself a little room. And above our line there. Perfect. Grab our happy. Ink that up in our polished pink. Scoot over from our Christmas. Make sure I can see. I'm not right above this. So it's hard for me to line it up. Let's see. Oh, that turned out great though. And there we go with our two-tone Happy Christmas or Merry Christmas, just depending on where you live or what you like. I think I've told you about my friend her name is Mary. So she doesn't like to say Merry Christmas because it sounds like she's saying her name and then Christmas. So she's always said Happy Christmas. But it is also very much a British thing, the Happy Christmas versus Merry. So I love that we have options here. Okay, now let's go ahead and grab our mat and let's attach our basic white to our mat here. Grab either the seal or your liquid glue. Put a little bit in each one, each corner, and line it up so it has the nice framing. This mask is only about 1/8 of an inch. It's a very small mat. This mat is very small. Let's go ahead and then grab our presents and our DSP. Flip over our DSP. Put that on right underneath our Christmas and our happy. I probably could have left that pencil line just so we know where to line it up, but we will just wing it. There we go. That looks pretty good, pretty straight. Shimmy that over just a little bit. There we go. Okay, for our presents, we're going to flip over our black outlines, our basic black, and we're just going to put a little bit of glue on right underneath that bow and on the center. So right about here for that bow part, and a little bit here is where that's going to connect. Okay. Flip it over and line it up over our cardstock. I did some little squishing here. Don't worry, it'll dry clear. It'll dry a little bit tacky, which means a little bit sticky, but it will not be seen, so don't worry. You tell when I put too much glue there though, huh? Squished right out. Okay, grab our dimensionals. Carefully flip this one over or let it dry, depending on how wet it is. And let's add some dimensionals to the back here. I'm going to use my black dimensional, and we'll use this one here. I'm going to do my pink one first because I want to make sure that I have enough space and I'm not going over onto my happy. So line it up so it's not covering up our letters here. And then we'll have this one overlapping it and going a little bit higher above, like so. Cute. Grab our dimensionals, flip this over, and attach this to our card base. Again, one in each corner, one in the center. And we'll remove the backings. And attach that to our card base there, having borders on all the sides. And last, we just need to do a little embellishing, which we are using the classic matte dots in the black ones. We'll need 2 of the small and 1 of the large. That is my usual way to do it, by the way. We'll have our large one right here at the end of Christmas, a small one at an angle right above, and then we'll do another small one on our cute little present here. Okay, there we go. Super cute present one. This one's so easy to make. I love these dies. I'm so sad that they're already gone, but super happy that I can send this to a couple of my team members who have already ordered this kit from me. All right, let me go grab all of our other cards in here. You let me know which ones are your favorites. Look for my blog or click on the link if you're watching this on YouTube later for my blog so you can get all the measurements and more details on each of these cards later today. All right, you guys have a great day. Happy stamping, everyone, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.